Hi guys, Mr. Johnny here. In this video I'm gonna go and do the final assembly of these power supplies that you see on the bench. Yes, I'm in the house because outside it's pretty freaking cold now. And I'm glad I moved because I think it actually there was frost. Anyway, right now the power supply works good enough for me to lay out a board for it and put it on the board, and that's exactly what I did. Here's the board. There we go. As you can see, it looks quite good actually. The quality, I mean, the traces are not the best, obviously. They have some quite jagged lines, but and you can see they are tinned pretty damn good, especially considering the method I used. I mean, like, take a look at this trace. This one or this one, the finish on it is mirror-like, really. You can polish it and it will be very shiny. And why is that so cool that the board turned out as good as it did? Because my printer is very sick puppy now. It has printed a lot of pages, over 12,000 of pages in its life, and the cartridge is pretty weak in it, and the cartridge has been refilled multiple times already, so the printout looks like this. You can straight away see some artifacts. You can see some spots are not really filled all that great. There are some breaks in traces here. Overall it looks not so bad, if not counting these kinda white spots. But another problem is, as you can see, there are some lines like this, like it printed this way. These lines are because the drum, the photosensitive drum and some rollers inside the cartridge are pretty worn out and scratched up by the paper as it goes through them, and it goes through them like this. So that's why you see these lines. And again, you can see that the result is pretty good. And why it is pretty good? Because I went and at least, actually when I transferred it, one of these pads, this one, on the edge, was completely missing pretty much. And if you look closely, you will notice that this pad looks kinda crikey. As you can see, this one is more or less in shape, and this one is clearly hand drawn. That's what I did. I just went with this CD marker and filled up the trace. These holes on the outside are obviously to fix the board in the enclosure. Let me grab that and show you. Okay, here is our enclosure. It is pretty snug. I will probably have to go and remove some of this plastic you can see there. But overall, fits lovely there. The IC socket should not bump into the capacitor. Oh boy. It should be here. I think it has some clearance. It's gonna be placed on this back panel. It should be fine. But that's how the board looks like, long story short. Not so bad, not so bad. It would have been so much better if the printer would print out flawlessly, but oh well. By the way, why you don't see these scratches? Well, they are affecting. They have an effect. Right after I actually etched it, after I removed the toner, I saw those scratches as little defects in the etching. The etchant actually got into that areas, into those scratches, and damaged the copper a little bit. Not completely, it's not an edge through, it's just the track was like pitted, you know, like you leave some steel part in the to the outside elements, and the rust bites it, and then it's pitted after you remove the rust. Exactly the same happened to these traces, but again, after I tinned it, it did a lovely job at hiding all of this. You can still see some of them. Let me get a macro lens. Right there on the bend of this trace, right in the middle of the screen, you can see a little line. That's how it looks after the tinning, but it ain't gonna be a problem anyway, because I'm gonna tin those tracks heavily. Well, I ain't gonna tin those tracks heavily, I'm gonna use a bit of animal wire and solder it on top of it, the track. It's pretty thick as is, actually. It probably does not need it. Track on the secondary might need some beefing up, but on the primary there's no really that large currents that will require this track to be beefed up, but we'll see. I'm gonna probably first try it as is, and I'm gonna scope across a section of the track and see is there a significant drop or not. Okay, so that's a quick overview of the board. I'm gonna make it as a separate video actually. The next video is gonna probably be the long boring video where I will assemble it. We'll see. I'm not sure. These videos, assembly videos, are very pesky. First of all, they take some time, they take a lot of time to film, and they take then a lot of time to edit, to speed up some parts, to clip out unnecessary rubbish and stuff like that. Yeah. So I'm not sure whether or not I will make it, that assembly video or not. I may do a quick... I may make it, but it's not gonna be a... from the very beginning to the very end. I'm just gonna show some components, like soldering a transformer, bridge, IC, something like that. And I'm gonna talk a little bit how to wind the transformer in that video, because you guys asked for it, but I did not cover it yet. Again, I ain't gonna wind the transformer right in the shot, because it takes quite a lot of time. I'm just gonna explain how you do it, and that's that. So for now, thanks for watching, see you.